Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cavanaugh's Corner. Today on the show, I'm going to be talking about a film that I am a very big fan of. It is just an outstanding movie, and I remember when it came out when I was younger, and just how mind-blowing this movie was at the time, and how well it's held up over the years. Today I'm going to be talking about the new 4K version of The Matrix, one of the most influential sci-fi films of all time, and just a damn good action movie, really. It is just a really outstanding action film. This is the new remastered 4K disc that came out a while back. Actually took me quite a long time to get my hands on this thing. It was sold out pretty much everywhere for quite a while. But I finally got my copy in a few weeks ago, and I really wanted to take my time and watch this movie carefully and check out the special features and stuff before I reviewed it, because I like to give a pretty much a well-balanced, well-rounded review of pretty much everything in this box here. And I gotta tell you, this is a damn outstanding disc by Warner Brothers. They really, really knocked it out of the park with this. And it is one of the best films that I own in terms of 4K, especially for an older film. I think this came out in '99. And for an older film, it's kind of scary saying '99 is an older film. Oh my God. But anyway, this disc is just, it's one of the best I own. No joke, one of the best I own. This one here, they really went the distance in making sure this movie would really, really look damn good in 4K, especially with the HDR and everything this disc has. It is just, it's one of the best I own. And I'm going to kind of start out with just talking about the movie itself. I'm not going to be reviewing the movie. It's The Matrix. If you haven't seen this film, where have you been for the last 20 years? But really, this movie here is just, this is one of the best movies I have on 4K. Again, this film is enhanced so greatly by this 4K disc. It's kind of like rewatching the movie for the first time all over again. And one of the reasons why is that they brought in the director of photography to completely remaster this film from the ground up. And what they did was they recolor timed the movie completely to make sure it matched the director's, their vision, I should say, matched the director's vision to what they originally wanted to do with the film back in '99 that they kind of weren't able to do due to technology at the time. The technology wasn't really there to do what they really wanted to do with this film. And so they brought the director of photography, I think his name is Bill Pope. I'm going to refer to the disc here, so give me a moment. Yeah, Bill Pope. I'm sorry, I had that right. See that? But Bill Pope was brought back in to basically recolor time the film in 4K and really to kind of supervise the entire remastering process. And I gotta say, they did a absolutely outstanding job with this disc. The movie is drastically different looking than before. And in this case, it's a very good thing. And I'll explain to you why. If you've seen The Matrix in recent memory, if you've seen especially the second and third films, even though those are not nearly as good as the first in my opinion, but that's just my opinion, the first film does not fundamentally look much like the second and third films in terms of colors. It's very close if you watch an older copy of the film, especially if you have like an old DVD or anything like that, but it's not quite right, and I'll explain to you what I mean. HDR allows for a bigger color palette. The high dynamic range on this disc allows for a color palette that was previously not possible on Blu-ray or especially on DVD. And so they recolor time the movie, so when you're seeing The Matrix in the film, The Matrix, everything has a green hue to it. And when they're in the real world or on the Nebuchadnezzar in the film, everything has a blue hue to it. And seeing that with the HDR, especially since this disc has Dolby Vision, which I was so glad to see on this. The Dolby Vision on this is really, really incredible. But the color timing of the film is mind-blowing. And there's no other way to describe it. This movie looks absolutely stunning. The first thing when I watched this film, I actually watched this with my friend. My buddy and I watched this together. And the first thing he noticed was like, whoa, this looks really green. And the opening scenes really, especially with the type font on the screen in the title sequence, is like, wow, that's really green. And the greens really jump out at you in this, especially any shots that have actual lights in the shot. The green hue to the lights is so much more noticeable now than it ever was before, and it really is like just a green hue. But I gotta tell you, you really get the idea of being in the Matrix versus being in the real world. Even when they don't say it, you can tell just by looking at it. And I think that's amazing that they were able to do that. It does not take away from the film at all. It only adds to the atmosphere of the film, and it helps a lot. Now, there is some grain in this, and I'm glad that they did not remove the grain. I did not really detect much in terms of DNR in this version here. They did a really good job keeping it a very clean picture, even though there is grain in the frame through basically the entire film. It's a very fine layer of grain, and it only adds to the actual depth of field in the film. I really, really like that look. I've always loved that kind of look of films that were filmed on film. Films that were filmed on film. Wow, that's a good one. But anyway, the way this film was shot, it was on film, so they kept that film grain in there, and I'm really glad they did. It looks outstanding. It never detracts from the film. It only adds to it, in my opinion. It is a damn good-looking movie. Now we'll get to the other aspect of this new disc that I really, really loved. This thing is going to Dolby Atmos track, too, and holy shit does the sound on this thing bump. It is a bumpin' movie. And I gotta say, this sounds better than ever. Better than any other version of this film I've ever seen. The surrounds in it are really, really well done and well placed. You really get an idea of when bullets are flying and gunfire and everything. And it's very immersive. You do get a lot of work in the overheads in this. You get a lot of sounds going through the top of the frame. You get a lot of immersive audio in this, and I really, really like that. I'm glad they went all out with this disc in terms of audio, visuals, everything. It's a home run. Now, as for the special features on the Blu-ray, now the regular Blu-ray, as far as I could tell, is also remastered, which is nice, and I'm glad that they did that. It looks pretty good, not nearly as good or not nearly as visually as pleasing as the 4K, especially the fact that the 4K really does a wonderful job with black levels, and the regular Blu-ray it's okay, it's not great, it's like right in the middle. It's still very, very watchable on regular Blu-ray. However, the special features on there are amazing. It's some of the best collection of special features on any disc on Blu-ray right now. There's a lot of them. It actually has a secondary disc. I'm going to open the box up here so you can see it. This is actually the inside cover, which I absolutely love, that white rabbit. It's so cool. But there's a 4K disc, there's the movie on Blu-ray, and then there's actually a third disc with the special features. And I'm really glad they put all the special features on a second disc. They let the movie on Blu-ray have its own disc, which is really, really nice. And pretty much all the special features on the regular Blu-ray are carryovers. So if you have the old Blu-ray disc, you pretty much have almost all those special features, but I'm really, really glad they included them on here because it really is it's a pretty good collection of special features in terms of featurettes, little documentaries here and there, little snippets and stuff like that, little behind the scenes, tidbits, really, really interesting stuff. And overall, I mean, this Matrix 4K disc, even though I waited damn near a month to get this thing, and it took me a little over a week to watch everything on here, it was well worth it. Definitely well worth the watch, well worth the purchase. Even, again, at full price, it's worth buying. This is an absolutely outstanding disc in every way, shape, and form. I honestly can't think of any negatives. I kind of wish they had put in a few new special features, but other than that, that's a minor gripe. Overall, this set is outstanding. I cannot highly recommend it enough. If you have $30 bucks and you want to have a damn good time watching a great movie, this is the best way to do it, especially if you have a 4K TV in a home theater like myself. Go out and buy The Matrix in 4K. It is absolutely worth it. Anyway, I'm Andrew Cavanaugh. Thank you for coming back to the channel here. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Until next time, take it easy.